If you sit down and introspect and think about your job, and can it be automated? If yes, you're at risk. If tomorrow somebody can write a script that can do your job, you're at risk. If your job is mundane, it requires very little human input, you're at risk. So jobs that are safe are jobs that require more human interaction.
Hello and welcome to Springboard, your virtual university. My name is Albert Ocran. Welcome you to Ghana's foremost developmental program and that place where the greatest minds in the world converge. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, itself a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News TV, the Springboard channel on YouTube, and the Graphic Communications Group. Today we continue our reflections on AI. Last week we explored AI for all and asked you to consider why you just can't afford to ignore it. Today we push on to AI for business and ask the question, is it closer than you think? My guest for today, once again, is Kobby Nkrumah, aka Kobby Spiky Nkrumah. He is the IT manager at Quantum LC, and he gave us some brilliant insights on AI and also gave us reflections around fufu. If you missed that one, just go back, get that edition and just watch the various generations of fufu by AI. But Kobby today will tell us about business and why so much is happening right around you in your industry. Kobby, good to see you again.
Good to be here.
Yes. So lots to chew on, lots to reflect on, but it is our reality, I guess.
Indeed.
We can't run away from it.
At all.
Today, let's go into the area of business and start with reflections on specific innovations that AI is throwing up in different industries. I mean, let's take healthcare, education, let's take manufacturing. Let's look at what AI is up to in various industries.
Right. So, I'll start from human resource, because everyone who's looking to get a job is sending a CV to a company, and large companies like MTN probably receive hundreds, maybe thousands of CVs. Now imagine the HR department having to go through every single CV. Some are not even qualified for the job, but yeah, we're home, we're hungry, and so we send CVs. How would you sift through all of these things? AI.
Wow.
Yes. So there's an AI tool that can check CVs and check cover letters based on the requirements, based on the job requirements, and shortlist candidates based on whether they are good enough and whether they meet the criteria set, and painfully, whether their CVs are actually tailored to the role. So some people create a general CV and then they send it out there. This is actually a tip for you. If you are sending a CV to a big company, just know that the first filtering process is done by AI. So if you do not have keywords that resonate with the job you're applying for, you've already missed out on it. Because that's what's happening now. You can't expect a human being to go through every single CV or read every single cover letter. So if your application does not have the keywords that resonate with the job requirements, you're going to be filtered out and you're going to lose an opportunity. So it makes the work of the HR department very easy.
So the probing will insert keywords that the algorithm should look for.
Exactly.
To ensure that the persons that are being shortlisted are at least within a certain space.
Yes.
So after the first filtering, I presume that there can be further probing to cut down and cut down to the point where now the human interface can come in and then you can, wow.
Yes.
Interesting.
So in the HR, that's what they're doing. Now, you mentioned manufacturing, and it's very interesting. I worked with a company that was also using machine learning and AI. So when we say machine learning, with every single AI model, there has to be some learning. just like with us human beings, we don't have knowledge if we don't learn. So we're training these AI models to learn. So what are they learning from? They're learning from certain indicators that we've set. So in the manufacturing field, where you have maybe a conveyor belt, what are the possible things that could go wrong? What are you training the AI to look out for? Are you looking out? Are you trying to increase productivity? Are you trying to increase time to, markets? Are you trying to reduce waste and all that? So when you identify all these pointers or all these areas that you want to monitor, then you come up with the sensors or data points that you would collect and then train your system. So your system now knows, okay, this production line probably is running 10% slower because of XYZ. Maybe some vibrations in the conveyor belt is slowing down your production. So maybe, and it also, even speaking of vibration, that could even tell you the possibility of a component going wrong in your production line. So measuring some of these vibrations and some of these flows can help you prevent, your whole line from going off, reducing productivity. So preventive maintenance can be done. So if maybe today we realize that line 1 was vibrating too much, so the productivity was down by about 10%, tomorrow we will have people work on it, check the pulleys, check the belts, do everything, and then we are back to capacity. And you have an AI that is monitoring that. You can't have a human being standing there counting. Imagine this was a tin tomato factory, counting every single tin. So today we've managed to, this line brought us about 300 tins, but then you can have artificial intelligence image recognition systems that will be counting each tin. And it will be doing it better than, imagine if a human being was counting it and then he sneezed. He would probably miss like 3 tins, but an AI will never sneeze and it will get every single one of them. So in manufacturing, you have that. And in banking and finance, a lot of ways. I've noticed that even in Ghana, most of the banks are using AI chatbots for customer service, which is actually very, very good because people have problems all the time. And if they can't reach someone to help them solve their problems, they lose trust in your business. So assuming, and I'm one of such people, I'm always calling customer services because if I have a problem, I need it solved. And that's how come you realize that some of these things are automated. They have chatbots that they've trained on frequently asked questions.
Absolutely.
And what are the possible problems people could come up with. And then they've put together what we call a knowledge base, fed it to the chatbot who's learned, and then just like ChatGPT, able to discern the question that is being asked it and then come up with an answer. So in the event that it can't answer your question, then it refers you to a human.
Hold on for a minute there. So in that regard, for a company that doesn't harvest its critical data, you are out of this game completely.
You are completely out. What are you going to teach it? Imagine
the design will be there.
Yes.
If there's no historical data, if there's no observation of trends, if there's no gathering of
data
of regular data, you can't feed anything.
No. So you might maybe borrow some data that somebody has collected.
It will reflect your company.
Exactly. You see, I'm glad that you said this because that's what some people think. That, but I can go and find some data set and use it to train it. But it's not tailored to your company. Maybe even the ethos of your company is totally different from that data set. Maybe even the language that you use is different. And all these things are things that people need to consider when, collecting data.
Let's talk about the troubleshooting that you mentioned in the course of your explanation of manufacturing. Will that be the same AI that is being used by mechanics at the very highest level for being able to determine exactly what's wrong with the vehicle?
So just recently I saw online a company had released an AI tool for mechanics, and it's like a scanner that you drive your car through, and it uses all sorts of sensors and radars and whatever to scan the whole car, like doing an x-ray of your car. By the time your car goes through it, it knows, okay, so there's a leakage here, this thing is loose, we need to tighten that. All of this. So previously, if you took a picture of some of these things, someone had to review that image, right? Or a professional who understood what they were looking at would have to review that image. But now, if you've managed to train an AI model on what's supposed to be and what is wrong, it can tell. So it can look at it. So then you have computer imagery, and then you have a database that is going to cross-reference by. So it's similar, and essentially, yeah, you could transfer the knowledge, just like checking for vibrations. You could actually have, and I saw this on. I mean, I'm always looking for stuff, so I saw this somewhere where they put like a tool in the car with a microphone, and they're able to, based on the vibrations and the noise, detect where the problem is coming from or possible causes of that vibration. You know, sometimes you take your mechanic for a ride. I'm hearing a noise. I don't know where it's coming from. And then our matry mechanic like, oh, this one is the hub. The hub. They're going to change the hub. The noise is still there. Say, oh, it's your lower arm.
Yeah.
By the time you're done, you probably change the whole subframe of your car and you still can't find the noise. But with these tools, they know the sound frequencies. I mean, our ears can only tell sounds that we are used to. But then the AI can tell from different sound frequencies. Listen, this sounds more like a noise that's coming from two metals clanking. So that could be something that is not within the bushing area. It could be a metal grinding sound. So yeah, this could be what. And then it narrows down. It may not be 100%, but it narrows down the margin of error. So you're not spending time doing matry makwe.
Talking about matry makwe, I remember years ago, probably some significant number of years ago, I was working as part of a team of consultants trying to do a project to increase efficiency by increasing output, cutting down cycle time, increasing the efficiency all around. And as you mentioned, the indicators that AI was using to improve efficiency, I was telling myself, you know what? If AI was there at that time, instead of seven of us on that project, we probably would have needed just one or two persons and it would have been done. Yeah. Who are the big gainers and who are the big losers in all this development in terms of skill sets?
Everyone is a possible gainer. And I say this, and I like to reference this movie, Hidden Figures. You know, the woman who helped NASA go to the moon. They were secretaries until they learned how to use the computers, which had been abandoned, and they were able to do those mathematics that helped them get to the moon. They would have lost their jobs with the advent of the computers because secretaries were not going to be needed at the time. All they were doing was like quick math and stuff for them. And this was a time when there was a lot of racism. So when you take that instance and you see how them upskilling or them deciding to learn something new affected and promoted them or pushed them further, it tells you that every in our lives as human, every time there's a change, there's a significant change in our lifestyle or in the technologies that we use, we have to either adapt or die. You have to either innovate or die. So companies are innovating, people have to adapt, people have to change. If you don't change, you lose your job. There were people who were factory workers in the 20th century, early 20th century. Somebody's job was just to tighten a bolt because they're standing in a line and then tightening bolts. Then they brought automation where robots were doing these bolts tightening. So what's your job now? If you learned how to program the robot, you still have a job. Or if you learned how to service the robot, you still have a job. If you figured out, okay, so what about the robot can I learn? Where can I fit in? You'll have a job. Not everyone is going to fit the whole AI multiverse, if I should put it so. Somebody's job may be to help train AI models. Somebody's job may be to test AI models. And that was actually a job that became very, very in vogue a couple of months ago, maybe years ago. They were looking for people to train AI models. So you're asking the AI model questions. You're getting the results. You're taking notes. What is it getting wrong? What are the weaknesses? What are the strengths? And you're taking notes. That was someone's job, right? I don't think 10 years ago somebody thought, oh, I'll be an AI tester.
Okay. Okay.
Somebody's job today is identifying AI content and flagging them to help train an AI to identify AI content. Because the AI may not be able to do it on its own. It needs the human intervention. So how does a human, play in that role? That's what the human has to do.
So those will be the gainers, the big gainers.
And creatives.
Okay.
Remember we talked about generative AI in the last episode. Any generative AI tool learns from a creative.
Explain.
So if you asked, like for instance, when we asked Gemini to create a fufu, it didn't come out of thin air. It had to go and look in a database. What does fufu look like? What does wele look like? So did it pick it from someone's image and try to recreate it? That's exactly what happens. If you ask it to create, if I ask it to, this animator in Ghana, Zingaro, right? If we all know Zingaro's cartoon style. If I wanted a cartoon like Zingaro and I asked AI, it's not going to come out from any, thin air. It would copy Zingaro's style and create it. What that does is, what this means is that someone like Zingaro can essentially create a data set of African-themed animated characters and then use that to train his own AI for people who want to create African-themed AI characters. Because obviously right now, there's a bias. Most of the data sets are from the Western world, and if you ask it to do anything Ghanaian, it will draw Kente. But there's more cultures in Ghana than Kente. Why does it know that? Because there's not a lot of data. So you, a creative, can decide that I've carved this niche. I'm going to create data that this AI is going to learn from.
How do you teach the AI? How do you keep saying train the AI? How do you train the AI?
So depending on which AI, every AI model if you decide to create your own, you need to create your own data set and then feed it. It will get very technical. But
I'm talking about a regular day-to-day user like me. So train an AI.
For instance, my ChatGPT, it understands natural language. So I told it that I am going to be teaching you to speak like me. Yes, simple. From now on, anything I type, anything I feed you is my style. Try and emulate it, try and learn from it, and continue to repeat this so you get very good at it. And it will be updating its memory. So if it does something that I actually tell it, this is not how I would have said it.
And this is for all generative AIs?
For most generative AIs. Some are better than others. So the better the learning model, the better the results.
Okay.
So I'm not going to say this is better than that.
I know.
Yeah, your mileage may vary. You can try them yourself and then see how it could benefit you. But essentially, these large language models are easily trained because they speak natural human language.
For anyone who's afraid of, bothered about job security, I'm not talking about industries now. I'm talking about anybody doing anything who is concerned with the surge or the rise of AI, and by extension, concerned about job security. What should they do?
If you sit down and introspect and think about your job, and can it be automated? If yes, you're at risk. If tomorrow somebody can write a script that can do your job, you're at risk. If your job is mundane, it requires very little human input, you're at risk. So jobs that are safe are jobs that require more human interaction because a computer cannot be human. So even though they even use them for certain chatbots, it may not be able to communicate empathy. So imagine a hospital puts a chatbot in its place as customer service and someone calls and says, I have a headache, It's going to be very robotic. Although there have been instances where it has been trained to sound very empathetic, but sometimes empathy is not believable. You can't really emulate human emotion.
Right.
And so that's one of the places that you are safe. Or if you can establish yourself, you're good to go. And businesses who are venturing in there should be wary of it. It could be a make or break.
Okay.
If your service requires more, human approach to communication, don't go and put a chatbot.
Would you put education in that bracket?
I would put education. It's also a mix.
It's a mixed pot, yeah.
Yes. So what we call human in the mix in AI development, there are certain tasks that you don't let the AI see through to the end. It gets to a point, hands over to a human being, or a human being reviews, and it continues. You don't leave it completely to the AI because the likelihood of it misunderstanding, miscommunicating could be very serious. It could be damning. It could damage your business.
What's the most radical thing that has been done in education as far as you're concerned in the field of artificial intelligence?
Yes. One of my favorites, and in China. I saw that the Chinese have started implementing AI in their schools, and I was mind blown. Tell you why. So they've got children being studied by the AI, and in real time communicating with parents at home, for the parents to know how their kids are doing in real time, seeing how the subjects they're interested in. So if your child is dozing off in school, it's sending.
Please, I can literally, if I open the lines and said, young people who are protesting against this one, I think my inbox will be full.
It will be very full. If your child is dozing. But what really blew my mind was that most of the time we blame the child's failure in a subject on the child's inability to understand or learn, basically. But what about the teacher? So this AI is also evaluating the teacher and the teacher's effectiveness at teaching the children.
Oh.
So if the teacher has born...
There's a particular language that I think probably 80% of those in my generation will tell you that the teacher was the reason why they were never able to.
French.
I didn't mention it. I will mention it.
French teachers, the whole Ghana, everywhere you go, it's always been something that people see. This is actually data that somebody could feed into an AI to actually find out.
Why? Because there are some good ones too.
Yes.
I suspect.
There are some good ones. I was taught by a very good French teacher, Madame Tete, Northridge Lyceum. She's the reason why I made it far in French. She was very, very good with it. So if you had more people like Madame Tete, and that data would prove, if we take Madame Tete's students versus maybe, you can't mention teachers' students, who would see the difference. What's the efficiency of that teacher's teaching style? And that would have an effect on whether the children are the ones to blame or the teacher. Now, that's what the Chinese are doing.
Let me let you catch your breath. When we come back, we'll go into how any business, any institution, SME, running concern can start step by step to integrate or adopt artificial intelligence or AI into their business model. I think that would be a good time to now bring it on, because we've crossed the line about whether to participate or not. It's no longer an issue. I think we should get into how do I start, what do I do next, and what will I get, and then probably touch on the future, considering how things are going.
Sure.
This is Springboard, your virtual university, and this, as I mentioned last week and this week again, is the AI edition of Springboard, trying to demystify it so that you can make a decision about getting on board and exploring not just the shallow end of the pool, but venturing into the mid and hopefully along the line into the deep end. My guest, Kobby Spiky Nkrumah, helping us to break it down as best as only he can as we explore this subject. It's brought to you by the Springboard Ratio Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana and the Enterprise Group, our media partners, the Multimedia Group and the Graphic Communications Group. This is also powered by the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Let's go for a break. When we come back, how do you start? What do you do next on this journey exploring AI? Please don't go away.
Good business means seeing the possibilities and maximizing opportunities. Making sure you have a responsive support system backs your business goals. A partner that gives you a stable platform with reliable connectivity and seamless solutions, and better understands the tools required to take you to the next level. With so many moving parts in running a business, we do our best to provide you with some stability the only kind of stability you can find with MTN Business Broadband, the fastest and most reliable internet provider in Ghana, making sure you stay ahead and stay connected because we understand what makes your business tick.
Sign up today on broadband.mtn.com.gh or call or WhatsApp 0244 308 111.
MTN.
Whether it's 1924, 2024, or 2124, we've always known that you are driven by your sense of safety and well-being. It is what drives us to see you through from start to finish, from small to big. And in the last 100 years, as you have evolved, so have we also expanded to serve you in many ways. From cradle to grave, with expertise in insurance, life, pensions, properties, health, and for those beautiful memorable goodbyes. It's 2024, and in all our markets, our pedigree is recognized, our strength respected, our expertise valued, and our solutions sought by all who desire an advantage in life. Experience the time-tested and truly trusted 100 years legacy of Ghana's oldest insurer. Take charge of your future now. Insurance, life, pensions, property management, funeral services, health insurance. Enterprise, your advantage.
Hi, this is Albert Ocran. This August we celebrate 17 years of Springboard, your virtual university. This broadcast was born on the evening of 4th August 2008 when Comfort and I sat in the studios of Joy FM to discuss building the good society. Our reflections that day were on the writings of a Russian philosopher Leo Tolstoy, who wrote, "How much land does a man need?" 17 years on, and we still are reflecting on these same thoughts. How do we bring everyone on board to build the good society? It's amazing to reflect on how far we've gone with the broadcast, how many platforms it's serving people on, and how many millions across the world have been transformed by this broadcast. To God alone be the glory. We want to say a big thank you to all our partners and all our stakeholders, listeners, and viewers. You make Springboard the virtual university. To mark this special occasion, we're rolling out a series called Thinkathon, the power of ideas. We bring on experts from academia, business, industry, governance, students, leaders from all over to reflect on how ideas can transform our society. We have a couple of other interventions lined up for you, but this is Springboard at 17. We want to invite you to join us in these conversations and you'll be greatly inspired. Springboard, your personal value will shoot up.
Learn something new every week and be inspired by innovations, impact, and success stories of individuals making strides in the agricultural, agribusiness, technical, and vocational skills sectors on Ghana Grows Ejuma with Arabo Kumsin and Yabitha. Join us this and every Thursday on Facebook at 7 p.m. at Ghana Grows, also at Comfort Ocran A and at Albert N.E. Ocran. On Fridays at 4 p.m. on Joy 99.7 FM and on Sundays at 5:45 p.m. on TV3. Ghana Grows is an initiative of MasterCard Foundation in partnership with the Springboard Roadshow Foundation. If you are a young person and you want to be a part of our various interventions, call or WhatsApp Ghana Grows call center on 0308 255 775. Follow us on all our social media handles. Ghana Grows Ejuma. Hope Day.
Welcome back to Springboard, your virtual university, and to this incredible conversation on AI for business and why it is closer than you think. My guest, Kobby Spiky Nkrumah, helping us to decipher the ins and the outs of what some are excited about and others are also scared about. Artificial intelligence. Springboard is brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between Mastercard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News TV, and the Springboard channel on YouTube. We also are working with the Graphic Communications Group in this project. So, talking about enterprise, let me give you the enterprise advantage tip for today. And it's simply, can I buy motor insurance for 3 months? Courtesy of AI, you can buy for even a month. It's as simple as that. And you can go for as short as 1 month or as long as 12 months in buying your motor insurance. Per the pricing guidelines, it is more expensive to buy motor insurance for shorter periods. And that I'm sure you will understand. This is brought to you by the Enterprise Group. Call them on 030-263-4777. Email info@myenterprisegroup.io. Enterprise, your advantage. So the Ghana Growth Program would like you to take note of the call center number to call if you would like to find out more about the exciting things young women, young people are doing in the areas of agriculture, agribusiness, and ATVET. We'll be exploring as we go along some incredible things AI is doing in agriculture, and just to find out what is happening and how you can be part of it, just note this number 030-8255-775. Just call or WhatsApp the Ghana Growth call center line and you will be supported to find out what's going on and how you can be a part of it. Also, some big news about the Teenpreneurship Conference. And this is an exclusive. If you are a teenager with big dreams, bold ideas, and a passion to create something amazing, mark your calendars because Teenpreneurship 2025 is from Monday the 11th to Friday the 15th of August at the Osu Ebenezer Presbyterian Church Hall and Compound. The theme is Next is Now. I love it. Next is Now. It sounds like an AI-generated theme. Next is Now. And come together with other exciting teenagers and explore various areas of endeavor and how you can position yourself, upskill and reskill to remain relevant in a very rapidly changing world. It's exciting, it's hands-on, and it's absolutely free. Registration is now open and the spaces are limited. And so please call or WhatsApp if you would like to find out any details. Go to the same Ghana Growth call center number 030-8255-775. Just reach out to them by phone or WhatsApp and find out how you can be a part of the Teenpreneurship Conference. Today we'd like to throw light on one business that we would want to encourage you to patronize in the sectors we have chosen. And this is a free support we give to young people, especially doing things in these sectors so that they can make some more cash and grow their SMEs. And so this is about freshly made pancakes. And the company is Butterly Bliss Pancake. Their number is 055-466-4220. Call them and place your order and enjoy homemade pancakes anytime you want. Butterly Bliss Pancake is our business for the week. Kobby, back to our AI. I'm listening. I'm an SME. I'm a business, and I have not given enough attention to AI over the past. But listening to you now, I feel this is the time. Next is now. So talk us through the first step, the next step, and what next?
So I think the main issue I've had most of the time with businesses that want to get into AI is we want AI. That's what they come and say.
For what?
Yes, exactly. What do you want AI for? You know, you need to know what your problems are and how you can solve them. Typical example, are you trying to reduce cost, generate more profits? Are you trying to increase productivity and then, make your team more efficient or increase speed of production, depending on which industry you're in? And I like to give this example, American Airlines. Once upon a time, they decided they were going to they collected so much data and they knew that in first class and business class, the olives that they were serving were being wasted. People were, they were serving about 5 or 6, and people were not eating them. So started taking one olive out. And I mean, when you look at the volume, it became a lot. They saved hundreds of thousands of dollars just by taking one olive out of every single meal. Why was this effective? Because of data. So as a company, if you want to do anything which has to do with AI and you don't even have data, where are we beginning? You see, so you need to be collecting data. You need to keep your books. You need to document every single activity that you're doing. Every step in your operation should be documented, well documented. It's one of the things that really affects us as Ghanaian businesses. There's not a lot of documentation. So even when you invite, sometimes you experience this when there's even a handover. Everything, there's chaos because somebody did not document how they, and you always have to call the old guy. We need a password to the server. He's gone. What if, touch wood, he passed? He's gone with it. So as much as possible, we need to document our operations, our steps. Even the brand needs to be documented very well. So let's say you want to develop an AI chatbot. Small businesses can even start an AI chatbot. Most of I call them bedroom entrepreneurs. You know, they start their business in their bedroom selling thrift, fools, and they're making good money, but nothing is documented because it's vibes. They get the money, they spend some, they buy, restock, and then like that. But are you are you doing accounts? Are you bookkeeping? Are you checking which clothes am I actually selling more of? How am I interacting with my people? What time do they interact with me? If you're going to create a chatbot that can be interacting with your clients on WhatsApp, for instance, you could create a simple chatbot that could respond to your chat, your clients, even at midnight when you are asleep.
So you can literally lift, as you said, you can lift an Excel sheet that says for the past week 1, week 2,
yes,
till week 104, let's say about a 2-year period. Yep. The sales per week, the volume sold, yep, the amount of money generated, that kind of information, yes, can be exported to an AI to generate reports on.
You can just copy that file and put it in ChatGPT, Meta AI or whatever, and ask it to analyze it. This is my business data. Analyze it and tell me which of my products sold best. What influences, you should know your business. So if you're selling clothes, for instance, what products sold best during this period? It tells you. Was this a factor of maybe weather, or was it more corporate clothing? And you've categorized them well, so it's able to give you answers. And you're using these analytics to inform your next decision. So now you're going to restock.
The probing must be quality, yes, or it will give you an answer you will clap about. But meanwhile, if you had asked the right questions and entered the data in a more structured manner, yeah, you can even get a bigger competitive advantage.
Exactly.
Okay, so first know what you want to, yes, do and what help you are looking for from the, exactly, AI. What next?
So once you've done all of that, there's also identifying that your incapacities. So I can't do this. Let me employ someone to do that, right? Sometimes businesses want to do everything themselves, and that's fine. But it could also be the beginning of an end. You might end up doing the wrong thing. Like I gave the example of setting up a chatbot and then training it on some general data somewhere and it not understanding what your client's interest or what your client actually is or what even your brand is and miscommunicates. That could be the difference between a client coming back. Some clients are very petty. I remember someone telling me that they encountered a chatbot and they didn't know it was a chatbot. They were talking to customer service and the customer service personnel kept calling them by their first name. So for instance, Albert, if you do this, it will work. And it sounded too direct and too, like I'm telling you that
culturally is not too good.
Yeah, it's not too good, It lacked any emotion. It rather sounded like it was an order.
Okay.
Do this. And it was always starts a question with your name, comma. And the person felt like it was a human being you're talking to. It's like, this person is too rude, and then stopped. So when I read the log, I was like, no, that's a chatbot. And that's just what they asked it to say. And so that's why it always started with your first name and then read out a predetermined answer.
So those are the risks involved in
yes,
using it and the implications for customer service experience.
Yes.
Great.
So collecting your data is important. Learning how to use the tools. Identify which tool would suit your business. You might also, the last time I gave...
So how do you know?
You can actually ask AI. So I spoke to a group of small business, individuals who wanted to also use AI. And the first thing I told them was, you can actually use AI to learn how to use AI. Just like I used AI to get a prompt to generate a fufu. So I'm starting a business. This is my plan. This is what I want to do. How would you advise me on what to do? If you think your prompt is not good enough, you can ask it to help you with your prompt. And then you can even break it into questions. If after this, take a pause and then ask me a question for me to respond, and then we continue. So maybe you don't know how to prompt, but you want it to help you. You can ask it to be asking you the questions to answer, and then you will get your answer.
Wow.
Yeah, so I can break it down and say, I'm starting a business. This is what the business is about. I need you to help me brainstorm. Let's do this in step by
Blocks,
step.
okay.
So after each step, ask me a question, let me answer, and then based on the answer, we move to the next step. And it would obey your instructions and proceed at that rate.
In the same way that you say the AI is emotionless and therefore sometimes lacks the empathy and the connection, the AI is also never offended.
At all. At all.
And you can...
It won't take offense.
No. You can ask repeatedly and repeat,
Yes.
and it just will answer.
Exactly.
Keep answering.
So use it. Also, because it is emotionless, people tend to be saying please and thank you to AI.
No, it's caution. You can't help us.
Last time, Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, actually came out to say it's costing them too much money. You don't need to say please or thank you because it's still going to process it as a word. And like I mentioned, it's going to transform it. So you say please, and it's going to transform the please as much as it's going to transform all the other things that you said.
Shoot straight.
Just shoot straight. It's your assistant.
Let me quote Feifei, who says, artificial intelligence is not a substitute for human intelligence. It's a tool to amplify human creativity and ingenuity. What would you say to that?
Absolutely. I was going to say something, but a fool will always be a fool, no matter the tool you put in their hand. So if someone is which is why sometimes, when you go racing, I love cars, I'll use racing. They say it's not a car, it's a driver, or it's not the ball, it's the player. The tool is as powerful as the one using it. I could maybe use a basic LLM and get much out of it than someone who's even paying for a ChatGPT plus, which will be like $3,000, because they'll go and put in a very simple prompt like, help me, I'm trying to do a business, finish. And then it will just generate something for you. But someone who's using the cheaper version could prompt it, guide it, push it here, push it there, and get the most out of it. So a tool is as powerful as the person who uses it.
This is Springboard, your virtual university. Last week we began a discussion with Kobby Spiky Nkrumah about AI and why you can't afford to ignore it. Today we are breaking down AI for business, trying to take a step-by-step guide into getting into the algorithm and using it to increase your profits, increase your revenue, understand your customers, cut back on your cost, reduce cycle time, improve efficiency, measure the return on each staff. Several decisions, even sift through CVs and cover letters and appoint the right people, and it's all part of the conversation. Kobby, if somebody wanted to call an expert like you, like anyone else in the field who's mastered the use of these tools, what can they expect? Because until people understood that even for Facebook and the social media that we all got excited about, that it is free, when you are using it for business, there are nuances you must understand about the algorithm and how it processes and how to use it to improve your returns. Everybody felt once it's free, we can do it by ourselves.
Sure.
For somebody who wants to talk to an expert, what should they expect that expert to bring to their business?
So for every business is unique. Every business's approach to their business is a totally different journey that even no matter how close they are in industry, They all have their paths that they're charting. And usually it starts off with a complete education. That's what I start with. I would tell most businesses to get your business educated, because I may be an AI integrations person, but I may not understand your operations well
He's
enough.
an AI integration person.
So an AI integration person, someone who understands AI tools and understands business processes and knows which tools and what can fit where. So, for instance, if I came into your business and I wanted to help you, so what are your pain points? I would initially just come and experience your business.
Will you be interested in the strategy?
Yes, you'd have to be interested in everything, the operation, the strategy, the inflow of like everything, also based on what the company wants. If the company knows what they want, they're able to steer you. But when they don't know, you come in and then study their operations and you're able to find out, okay, so this is something you can automate. For instance, in digital transformation, you're looking at what they're doing that can be transformed digitally. Now, in that digital transformation, which ones can we automate using AI? So maybe you have a process that goes through these number of steps, that has these number of human interventions. How many of those steps can we remove to make it more efficient? And how do we make it more efficient? So, for instance, let's use procurement. In any business, there's procurement. So this person sends an email, it has to go to the procurement head of department pushes it to procurement takes it to finance pays, and then you procure the whole process. Now that whole zigzagging, how do you make it faster? How do you expedite it to reduce that time in the events where the company needs it's so urgent. Now somebody hasn't signed. So how do we speed it up? If the AI integration person is in the system, they see, okay, so this is where you have a weak link. We can replace this process where you have to print out a document and sign by making sure that once a PO is raised or once a request is raised, it automatically follows these paths. This person just has to click approve, their signature is automatically inserted. That person hits approve, and then boom, the process is done. Eliminating that whole email sends this. So it could even just be a form that one person fills, and then all that one person has to do is just click approve. Now, when it's done, it comes out as a PDF with everybody's signature, and the form has already been filled. Nobody had to write anything, just the initial request.
I'm just smiling because in the course of doing that project with a multinational organization at the time, we came across an elderly management accountant who said, you see, you small boys, you go to Legon and come and sit here and drink coffee and then chew biscuits and come and tell us about cut. This is about controls. We used to call him controls behind his back. Right. Fantastic man, but he felt what we were doing in all this cycle time reduction, cutting costs, and it was just reducing the controls. The document must travel in person. You must cite it. And we had a lot of clashes, but we eventually managed to introduce the smarter way of doing things, but not without a few fights.
Does happen. Definitely does happen. Change, it can always bring friction.
How big can this be in terms of its potential to transform Ghanaian SMEs?
A lot. You see, there's so much potential for SMEs. We need to start thinking global. You might be here and then serving a local audience, but thanks to the internet, and I think this has been reiterated more times than it can. The world is now a global village. Your audience can be in Australia. Your customers could be in North Korea. So being able to serve everyone because of these tech tools is actually a plus. Imagine a client speaking to you in French and you don't speak French, but thankfully, most of these devices now have translators. So some of these new smartphones, you can actually be reading text in different languages, converting it into your language. You type, it sends it in the person's native language. That's AI. It's getting you business. You are a small business, you want to create content and put on social media, but you can't afford a graphic designer. There's AI tools for that. Use Canva, prompt it. Canva can even code. So you want to build your own app for your business. You can use Canva, you can use Lovable. There's so many apps that can help you build these things. So it really puts the tools for becoming global into your hands and reducing your expenditure to become a global brand.
If you are an AI ambassador in this country, let me tell you something for free. You can explain and you can explain and you can explain. But I've found out that one of the easiest ways to get people to buy in is when you show them how much they can cut down on cost. That's one you can't go wrong. Tell me, how does the use of AI by a small business cut back on cost and expenses?
So, the example that I just gave you, all these things were costs previously. If you wanted to build a website, you needed to pay someone to build a website. If I'm building a website, I'm not charging less than 20,000. Now you can cut me out. You can use any of these domain or hosting providers, give you AI, website building tools that are just drag and drop. Or you prompt it. I'm not going to mention a name, I'm not going to give you a free ad, but there's one that you buy the domain and the hosting, and then they give you an AI prompt. You tell it what your business is about. So once you have created a business name, description, vision, mission, you can put that text in there. And guess what? It'll build a website with you, complete with images. All you have to do is now just change the images and put what you want. Now, assuming you can't even afford a photographer to take pictures for you, go on ChatGPT, Gemini, Meta AI, generate an image of a woman. So let's say you're in the hair business, a woman wearing this wig, and the woman bone straight of Ghanaian descent. Describe her well. Or you can find a picture and then feed it into the AI, let it generate something similar. I mean, this sparks a bit of copyright debate, but yeah. And it generates something similar for you and you can use for your website. You've cut down on building the website cost. You've cut down on the photographer cost. And if you need flyers or anything, you use Canva. You've cut down on a graphic designer cost. If you want to create a video ad that you're going to put on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, you can use Kling AI, you can use Runway ML. All you have to do is just take your prompt. You can even generate an image and convert that image into a video using Runway ML.
Do you foresee legal battles? Do you foresee data privacy issues coming up in this?
A lot. It's already started. I mean, there was a song that was produced by some hidden guy, which had The Weeknd and Drake's voices impeccable. You couldn't tell the difference. And they had done a song. And we know Drake and The Weeknd hadn't done that song, but the song went viral, causing both parties to come in and ask for it to be taken down because it was infringing on their intellectual property. Now that sparks a whole, discussion about copyright, intellectual property. Someone is taking my property and someone's used my voice to create an ad. So I could create an ad for my business using your voice and say, Reverend Albert Ocran has endorsed my brand. You never did.
They hear me say, Charlie, buy from you. But it also means that the political space, it can be very, very, very dangerous, especially in times like this, when by the time you get to the disclaimer, the damage has already been done.
Which is why the education is extremely important, so people are able to discern fake from the real.
Tell me, when you say the future is going to be even more advanced and complicated, I mean, even with this one you are describing, sounds quite a mouthful, a handful, and a earful. How does the future look like?
My problem with the future is that regulation always plays catch up.
Okay.
That's the problem. Regulation is not, and it's understandable. They can't predict. They can only foresee just a bit of the change that's coming and then preempt. But let's take for instance, data protection. Data protection became a big deal after Cambridge Analytica, by which time our data had been exploited for as long as it was possible, right? And so in the near future, right now, a lot of images, videos, audios being generated by AI are trained on existing data. We're going to have a lot of regulation for people's images, people's voices, people's even creations. Someone shouldn't take a picture of this set and generate something from it without your permission, right? And we've seen that in recent times. I forget the country, but one country has said that its citizens can actually prevent their faces from being used to train an AI. And in the event that is done, you can sue. So we're getting to that point where
The legal framework is
the legal
catching up.
framework is being, formulated. Unfortunately, it's region per region. There's no,
Universal
legal framework to protect people. But it all begins with the knowledge. The more people know and the more people demand accountability from AI developers, from creators, yes, then we're going to have that, put your foot down. So if everybody's okay now until one day somebody takes your image and uses it to say something damning, then it sparks an uproar that people begin to realize.
Algorithm allows it very easily.
YouTube, luckily, has begun to cut down on brainless, as they put it, AI content. So somebody can't just put any rubbish AI content out there because they're looking to make money from the system. So the platforms are also being affected because of the kind of content that is being fed on there. People are coming there for content they can consume and enjoy. And then somebody is just brainlessly pushing, because it's easy to generate, they can generate 200 videos a day and then post it. It affects the algorithm. It's affecting them. And so, yes, really huge cause for concern.
Spiky, Kobby Nkrumah. Let's tie this down. Let's wrap up by answering in a minute the question on a leveler. I mean, one of the things that technology has promised Africa and promised Ghana and promised those of us in this part of the world is that ease of access enables it to level the playing field between us and our brothers and sisters or countries in more developed jurisdictions. Can AI hasten the process of leveling between countries?
AI can, but the knowledge of how to use it is what we need. If we get a lot more people to understand how to use it, it will level the playing field. I believe if some kid in Fanchinekot knew how to use AI, that kid could use it to learn robotics on their own without having access to a robotics teacher, without having access to actual robotics kits. It could teach them how to use everyday things to build whatever it is that they wanted to build. I loved physics as a kid, but I mean, our educational system doesn't allow you to do science if you didn't do well in certain subjects. But today I'm learning physics using ChatGPT. So knowing how to use a tool can really empower us to level the playing field.
I'm going to go back and learn French.
Absolutely. Duolingo is there. It's using AI. So yeah.
Kobby Spiky Nkrumah, I want to say a big thank you to you for this fascinating conversation. I think it's been very instructive for me personally, and I suspect that it can be the same for our listeners and viewers over the past 2 weeks. At least demystifying AI and helping them know that it's closer than you think, and you can't afford to say, I shall not feature. A big thank you to you and to all your friends at Quantum LC for releasing you to us to come and educate us. This has been Springboard, Your Virtual University, our second conversation around artificial intelligence, powered by Kobby Spiky, helping us to understand the origins and the developments over time. I think that the biggest learning for me is the fact that it's closer than you think. And if you look a bit closer at what you are doing, you will find a way in which it can enable you to become stronger, better, faster, and more efficient at what you do. Springboard, Your Virtual University, has been brought to you by the Springboard Roadshow Foundation in partnership with MTN Ghana, the Enterprise Group, and the Ghana Growth Program, a collaboration between MasterCard Foundation and Springboard. Our media partners, Joy 99.7 FM, Joy News TV, the Springboard channel on YouTube, and the Graphic Communications Group. My name, as always, Albert Ocran, saying God bless you, and God bless you.
Turn around.